Jaylen Brown, Stephen A. Smith drama. I think both of them had points and both of them had flaws in a way. Here's what I mean by that. Jaylen Brown said that the refs were pushing an agenda against, for Joel Embiid, and the refs were missing calls and stuff like that. Obviously, he got the $50,000 fine. As far as the agenda part, I don't. Now, it has been record of refs cheating in the past. And in the NBA, you guys can go look it up. Refs have cheated before in the NBA and in multiple other sports. I just don't think that's the case this year. Just my personal opinion, I don't think that was the case this year. Me personally, I don't think that was the case. Now, as far as refs getting calls wrong, I have no problem with Jaylen Brown saying that at all. Refs get calls wrong all the time. All the time, and I think they should be able to get criticized for it. If you have a job, the job can be done wrong, and if the job is done wrong, you should be able to be criticized on the job being done wrong. An NBA player gets criticized because something about their job went wrong. A bad game, a turnover, something about their job went wrong. They're criticized for it. So refs should be criticized. I have no problem with that at all. Yes, you're going to be fined, but criticize the ref if you want to. You should just prepare to be fined, but if you want to, criticize the ref. I think, personally, I heard this idea one time. Refs maybe should have press conferences just so they can answer questions about why they call certain calls at certain times. I have no problem with that. I think maybe that's something the NBA should look into, and sports, NBA, NFL, everyone should look into. Just me personally. So I have no problem with JB saying that. Agenda part, I don't really know about that, but let's keep going. Stephen A. Smith said that Jaylen Brown doesn't have room to talk about agendas because he just got sent home 3-1. So he don't have any room to talk about agendas. Be quiet and go enjoy your off season, pretty much. When did a loss mean you can't talk? Even after the game and you lose, you have a press conference. Like you have to talk after a game. Well, you don't have to, but you normally talk after a game, win, loss, draw, whatever. You talk after a game. That's his personal right. Like, it's just because he lost doesn't mean Jaylen Brown got to be like, oh, well, I got to go sit in this box by myself and be depressed all offseason because we lost. While that may be how Stephen A. Smith handles it or how anyone else handles it, that maybe that's not how Jaylen Brown handles things. Maybe he didn't want to do that, and that's his personal right. He can talk if he wants to talk. So that's his personal right. So just because he lost don't mean he got to be quiet. That's never been a thing. So I have no problem with him going on Twitch to give his opinion on that. If he wants to talk, that's your personal right. Now, the thing that Jaylen Brown said about Stephen A. about pushing the fake narratives and stuff like that, I just think much like, now I don't, obviously I'm not Stephen A. Smith on that. I'm not Stephen A. Smith, obviously, but as far as what, like the lane that I go in and the lane that Stephen A. Smith go in, I think it's pretty similar in this way. I am a personality more than I'm a personality more than a sports guy. Like I can talk about the X's and O's and ins and outs of the game, sure, but I would rather talk about the story of the game and make it understandable. That's Stephen A. Smith's point. That's what he does. He makes it understandable. He just does it in a way that's only Stephen A. Smith. If it's a point that he's excited about or a point that he's adamant about, it's loud. It's almost argument tone. It has that impact feel. It has that importance feel. Stephen A. Smith is yelling at the top of his lungs. He's really strong about this point. That's Stephen A. Smith. That's his lane. That's what he does. He makes points, but he does it in a expressive way. That's what he does. Now, to Jaylen Brown's point, the narrative that Stephen A. Smith kind of has a lot is he gets into drama like the Jaylen Brown stuff and the Terrell Owens stuff and LeBron stuff. He gets in stuff like that because I feel like that he's just doing his job, but by doing his job, maybe he oversteps sometimes where he shouldn't, and it gets him in trouble a little bit. So the Jaylen Brown's point, I understand that as far as like the pushing the narrative stuff. So I can understand where Jaylen Brown is coming from on that. Now the last point is you can't say, Jaylen Brown, that this is the best team of your career and like expect no backlash. And he did. He said people gonna talk about the failure, but the fact that you just lost a 3-1 lead and said this is the best team of your career, people are going to look at the fact you've won a championship, you've been to finals, you haven't blown a 3-1 lead in the past, you've done all these things. How could this possibly be the best team of your career when you lost and when you had this failure and all that stuff? So that's going to be talked about in multiple ways. Now he might can feel like that because he's around the team, he's practicing with the team, stuff like that we don't see. So to him, this probably is the best team he's played with because of resilience and attitude they showed. But that's not going to come off well after you just blew a 3-1 lead. So that's where that went wrong there. Now, my personal opinion to the both of them, I respect both of them completely. I rock with JB. I rock with Stephen A. Smith. My opinion to both of them, separate. Nothing positive is going to come from y'all going back and forth with each other. Stephen A. Smith, Jaylen Brown isn't going to shut up because you told him to. Jaylen Brown, Stephen A. Smith isn't going to retire because you told him to. So just separate and make it a kind of a mutual thing to where, hey, JB, you don't talk about Stephen A. Smith, and Stephen A. Smith, you don't talk about JB. Just make it a thing like that. Just my personal view of it.